Hello, it's Graham Coath. A little after 4 o'clock. Sorry for keeping anybody waiting that was waiting for us to come on and talk about remote working. Now, I'm Graham. This is Ali. We'll introduce each other properly in a minute. But Ali, look, I thought I'd wear this coat this afternoon because outside, when I've just been to get the kids, it's absolutely torrential out there in England at the moment. It's bucketing it down. It's wet. It's horrible. I've got the cough medicine on the go, the cold medicine as well, hot drinks
Oh
to
no.
keep me warm. We'll talk about that, but surely this is one reason why people want to go remote working. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. It's a big piece of why I do it. I don't like cold weather. I'm from Florida, but I'm from North Florida, and it gets a little cold in like January and February.
Yeah.
So when I decided I wanted to be a digital nomad, I just said, I'm just going to chase summer around the world. And so for the most part, I've pretty much been avoiding cold weather. So I am in San Miguel de Allende. I arrived late last night. And it is a little chilly here, so I had to break out the hoodie, but it's not cold.
Yeah. And when you say it's a little chilly, do you know roughly what sort of temperature that is?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I didn't even look this morning. It's cold enough that my little Chihuahua, Lola, she has to put
Oh,
her Peruvian hoodie on because she's shaking.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I bet it's nowhere near as cold
No,
and
no,
wet as it is here.
likely
Um,
not.
no. So when did you start um, this digital nomad remote lifestyle change in your life?
This was over 4 years ago, like 4.5, almost 5 years, 4.5 years ago.
Mm,
Um, I didn't set out to be a digital nomad though. I didn't even know what it was at the time. I just knew that I needed a big change for my life, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted, but I knew if I wasn't making steps towards some sort of unknown something that I wanted, that I just wasn't going to go anywhere. So I sold off my house. I got rid of just about everything that I owned. And yeah, it set out and I went to a couple places just there stateside, and then realized, wow, I really do have a lot of freedom. Like I could go to another country, and I'd
yeah.
always wanted to go to New Zealand. So yeah, I planned a trip to go to New Zealand. I ended up doing Fiji as well, and I was gone for 3 months. And that was when I realized this is really great. Like this, I really am enjoying this, and I think I want to keep doing this for a while. And then that's also about the time that I learned what a digital nomad was, and I was like, okay, I'll be a digital nomad. That sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's just break down those terms for a minute because
Yeah.
a lot of people feel in England that they're remote working right now, and by that what they mean is that they're not in the office,
Right.
which is not the the same as a remote worker, really, is it? Or remote working? That's not the same.
No, no. I mean, are you a remote worker because you're not in the office? Yeah. Are you, if you're just working from home, which because of the pandemic, that's been the case for most people, they've only really experienced just work from home. Then you're only getting a small piece of, I guess, work from anywhere or the fully remote lifestyle. That's why I named my company Fully Remote with Ali, because there is a big difference when you can get to that point where you are truly and fully remote,
Yeah.
and you have the location independence and the work from anywhere aspect to it. And that doesn't mean you have to be a digital nomad to work from anywhere. It doesn't mean that have to do the long 1 month, workations, I guess they're calling them now, right? It just simply means work from anywhere, work from the local cafe. If you miss your colleagues, then work with your colleagues at a cafe, or hotel lounge are really nice, actually. I do that often. It just means work from anywhere that you're inspired.
Yeah. Can we really work from anywhere? Is anywhere somewhere that you can work? Or,
I
or and does that mean actually you need to really think about what it is that you're doing at any part of the day?
Yeah, work from anywhere, it's a trendy term. You can't really work from anywhere, right? First and foremost, you need good internet, right? If you don't have good internet, then you're not going to work there. And the ability to design your life and your days to embrace the freedom and flexibility that remote work offers. And, if that means, for example, like me, like right now, I am living in Manzanillo on the coast of Mexico. And that's home for, I've decided 6 months, but that doesn't mean that I can't just decide Saturday morning that I want to drive the next day to San Miguel de Allende, 7.5 hours away, and then work from there for a week from here. And then next weekend, I'm just going to keep driving and back to Oaxaca City and visit friends. And I'm going to work from there for 2 weeks. Right. So it's not easy. It took me some time to adjust to being able to bounce around. And even to this day, you still kind of run into hiccups like today. It's 10 a.m. The interview is starting for me. And because I got here late last night, waiting for the host to send me the password, my laptop was dead, and so getting ready I was a few minutes late. And so those things happen, but being able to, prepare and plan for those types of things, sometimes, you just learn from experience. Luckily, with what I do, I can help people kind of accelerate past learning, from experience and learning from me instead, and maybe not make so many mistakes and have so many hiccups. But yeah, there's definitely a big piece of intentionality around living this lifestyle, even though it's about embracing freedom and flexibility. You think, oh, I'm free to do what I want, when I want, whatever. And it's like, well, there's still, there's still intentionality and routine as well is really helpful with this lifestyle also.
Well, I would have thought there's actually probably more routine than some people imagine. Actually, just want to point out that you did actually have a backup plan, just in case people were thinking, well, then,
Yeah, I did have my phone as a backup plan, and I do have a backup laptop.
you see,
And I have the apartment that I'm actually staying in does have internet, so I could have gone down there, but I really wanted to work from up here today. So
we do have a question, which is a good question, so I'll ask it, which is, can you
okay.
give an idea of where you've worked that's considered unusual?
An idea of where it would consider it's unusual. I think maybe the most unusual place I've worked may have been Machu Picchu. I don't think too
Right.
many people, I don't think too many people have said they worked for Machu Picchu. Not the Inca city, but the village that you go and you stay in to go to the Inca city. You take the train to Aguascalientes is the name of it. And yeah, that was kind of cool working from there with, the Machu Picchu mountain in the background. That was, I guess, unusual.
I'm not as much of a traveller as you, so I do like the holiday abroad occasionally,
Yeah.
but I have to say, even in this country, I've found some fairly unusual places to work.
Okay. Let's hear them.
Yeah, probably my favourite one is up the top of the White Horse in Wiltshire. So there's this giant chalk white horse on the middle of a mountainside,
Okay.
and there's a few little tables at the top. And I've
Nice.
worked from the top. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, you got
Exactly.
it. Work from anywhere.
Work from anywhere, and that's the thing, though, isn't it? We do limit ourselves by the thought of an office and the thought of a particular space in there. That's where we're going to work from.
Right.
You can, with internet and mobile devices, you can work from pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
But there is a mindset that you do need, and there is a set of skills that you do need in order to be able to do that for more than just one day.
Yeah,
when you think, oh, I'm going to go up the White Horse and work, but to do it on a day-to-day basis and organize the rest of your life as well, that requires a set of skills, and that's where you really come in, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It is definitely one thing to just, work from home on the regular and say, you know what, today I'm going to go work from the White Horse, and you grab your laptop and the few things you need, but if it's an everyday thing. Now, I will say I am not the best digital nomad when it comes to bouncing around every week to a new location. That's not my bag. Okay. I think maybe I'm a bit older than a lot of the younger digital nomads that are, I think it's a little bit easier for them. It was easier for me 4 years ago. I would do a couple weeks here and there. When I did New Zealand, it was like a new place every week. But now I'm a bit more of a slow med. But yeah, it takes, again, preparing and planning, learning lessons the hard way or learning from someone, which is great, and if you can learn from me or another even remote work consultant, then awesome. There's equipment, that you want to have, because when you're moving around like that, you never have like the same desk, right? Sometimes you're working from a bar, sometimes you're working from a dining room table or whatever. And so doing the very best that you can with mobile equipment. I have a neck stand, which I love that. I didn't have it early on in my journey, and I was causing a lot of damage to my neck, which I already had issues from a car accident. So it was causing me a lot of pain and headaches and things like that. So getting my neck stand was really great. Having the backup, I have 2 laptops. I have with 2 outlets. I have, backup batteries. I've got all the things that help when you're on the go like that and being able to bounce around. A backpack that I bought that I spent a lot of time researching to find the very best backpack, digital nomad backpack, whatever you want to call it. And I absolutely love it. And I rave about it all the time. You find these things that help you to just, for things to be easier for you. And you want a sense of, there's a sense of comfort you want in your life. And the routines also help with that. So it can be really difficult when you're bouncing around to have routines. And even right now, I've been in Manzanillo for a couple of weeks, and I'm still working on finding a good routine for what that location offers, because there are aspects of my routine that's kind of location dependent. And so I know how important that is. So as soon as I get there, I start looking for certain things and what I need to get myself into that routine, and then looking for coffee shops and stuff like that I can work from, obviously. And planning your days, being really intentional with how you plan your days, looking ahead. And so a technique that I teach my clients, what I call is calendar blueprinting. And it's all about, being able to look ahead. What are your goals? What is it that you want to achieve? Breaking those down into actionable tasks, actionable items, and then actually blueprinting it out on your calendar so that every day you're making progress towards those goals and what you need to do. And this really comes into play when wanting to embrace freedom and flexibility very spontaneously, right? Because we want to be able to do that also. We still don't want to feel like a slave to work when we're living this life. And so, like, for example, what was it, like maybe 2 weeks ago, trying to meet new people in Manzanillo, and I met a few ladies, and they invited me to the first Wednesday ladies luncheon. And, we could very easily just say, like, I could have easily just said, oh, sorry, Wednesday, I have to work, and that just be my default. But I have been able to, work out my schedule so that I can embrace freedom and flexibility. And I've also worked on my mindset so that that's not my default thought. My default thought is, oh, let me check my schedule to see if I have any meetings. Meetings, obviously, difficult to just, throw to the side. Tasks, that's another story, right? But I can look at what I have, and because I've blueprinted my calendar, because I know what I'm going after, I know how I've blueprinted it, I know where I can have that freedom and flexibility, and I get to choose then. It's all about choice, right? This is the lifestyle because we want to have this choice, and I get to choose. Okay, I don't have any meetings for 2 hours. The tasks that I'm working on, I can work on, and again, because I know I'm very aware of what my work looks like, that I can push those tasks off. And then I went and I met some great ladies, and I got connected more to the community that I'm wanting to learn about. So it's really awesome, but it does take that awareness and intentionality and planning.
I wish I'd met you about 7 or 8 years ago.
I hear that all the time.
And the reason being was Now, and I wasn't traveling around the world. I wasn't a digital nomad that was hopping from country to country, but my work changed. And overnight, I went from being in an office or being in a situation where I was one place all the time to where I was traveling on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, yeah.
And I put this out there because I'm sure that there's a lot of business owners who might watch this throughout the week as it does its little rounds on LinkedIn, who think, well, why would we need a remote work coach? And surely what I call remote workers, who are just out there in cities or whatever, they don't need any of these skills or anything. And I'm going to say no, you do, because I very, very nearly burnt out. And I was, it took me far too long in a way to get the skills right in order to be able to really cope with what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I would get, although you're talking about hopping from this part of the country to another part of the country, for me, it was like I would be getting the train out of Somerset at 3 o'clock in the morning into London, so that I'm at the desk of someone in central London at 7:30 in the morning to start work, to start my first job of the day, etc. And I'd have to navigate my way around London for the rest of the day, this area, that area. Over time, I found ways of dealing with working in particular areas or coffee shops, and I found my little areas that I could work in and my little grooves that I could work to.
Yeah.
I perhaps found, the ways of dealing with living in hotels that helped me work and helped me settle at night and helped me get some rest and just finding downtime for myself, etc. Graham, I was crazy, says Odessa. Yeah, I was. And I was doing 16, 17-hour days, day in, day out, etc. And then, and then maybe traveling off to another whole area. And then you have to start again. You have to navigate those areas and find your groove in that area again. So what you're saying resonates with me, even though I'm not sitting, I've never done it sitting in a foreign country somewhere else as well. Does that make sense? And you hear that a lot?
Yeah, totally. People think that, well, because, you're a digital nomad, so, it's different for you, right? Like the working from home, I just work from home. I don't want to travel, so I don't, and I'm like, well, it's not about, everyone has a different goal for how they want to embrace that remote work from home, work from anywhere, fully remote lifestyle. We all have a different goal. The struggle that most people have in achieving that goal, that personal lifestyle goal, basically, is that they're working really long hours. They're reactive, always, plugged in, not proactive, and they don't really feel like they're getting the full benefit of it, and it doesn't matter. I've worked from anywhere. It actually makes me even more experienced on how to do these things, right? To help you, even if you're working from home, because even when I'm traveling around, I'm still working from home, or I go work at a cafe. But so all of these things, they still matter regardless where you're working from home or from anywhere. And these are the things that I help clients with. I help them to really own their day, be proactive instead of reactive, create routines, morning and evening routines. I help them to, again, blueprint their calendar to be able to achieve their goals, work and or life, and create that framework on their calendar to actually really help them balance work and life and to see the difference. And, I know that work-life integration is also really trendy as well. And people are like, well, it needs to all be able to integrate. And it does. And, and I hear people say, well, as an entrepreneur, I love what I do, or even employed remote worker, I love what I do. I don't mind working. And it's like, well, parents love kids, but they still need a break. Your brain,
yeah, right.
your brain needs a break. It needs to rest. Even athletes looking to win the gold medal, as part of their strategy for success to winning, self-care, rest, eating well, all of these things. So if an athlete needs to do these things to win, why wouldn't you need to do them to succeed at your life goals? So, having that, so yeah, integration, but it's also balance. At the end of the day, it is balancing, all of that, work and life and everything. And yeah, work is life, but there's still a balance to be had in it. And so the unplugging from work is a huge piece. And so these are the struggles that people have, the unplugging and the working long hours, that are the roadblocks that keep them from really enjoying all the benefits of being fully remote, whatever that looks like for them, for their lifestyle goals. And so when I started out doing this, I kind of wanted to help people to do the whole work from anywhere, and it's exciting. But what I realized is people can't even get to this point because they're not addressing the roadblocks. They're not, like, well, why should I even start traveling or become a digital nomad? I'm working 12, 14, 16 hours a day from home. Like, I don't want to go to another country and work 12, 14, 16 hours. So this is where I come in and I help people, like I say, get shit done in less time, unplug from work, and go enjoy your life.
No, yeah, absolutely. What tips would I have given the younger Graham? I'll tell you, I should have got myself an alley. It would have been helpful, because I think actually when you're in that situation, and perhaps you can answer that, but when you're in that situation and you are working those hours and you are entrepreneurial as well, and you are looking for the next hustle, the next thing to do, etc. Just, yes, you might have business people around you or other people involved in the business around you that you're flying off of or whatever, but to have someone that you can just talk to about the fact that you're not getting this sorted, you're not necessarily getting control in that, because actually it's quite a difficult thing to talk to about with other people you're working with, is admitting that you haven't actually got your poo together. That's that you don't want to do that. You want to look like you're cool in front of everybody else,
like you got your shit together.
Yeah, exactly, right. So to some extent you're actually therapy for people as well, right? To some extent.
Yeah, I mean, I never want to say I'm a therapist or I give,
Well, I'm not saying that you are, but I'm just saying
like
that you are.
And I have clients who, jokingly finish the call and they're like, well, that was a good therapy session. Because there is a bit of that, I guess that's where the kind of the coaching comes into play. And with it is that so you're just one person, right? You're the same person at work and you're the same person outside of work. Yeah. And we used to have, when we were going to the office, we had the commute at least to kind of like put our game face on for work, right? And then to decompress on our way home and, put our daddy face on or, whatever. And we don't have that. So people start to realize without the forced boundary, they don't have a boundary. And if they don't have a boundary and it's hard for them to create that boundary, then they likely have boundary issues, which I say, like, I have had in the past terrible boundary issues. That's what led to my burnout, and it's something that I've really had to grow in and work on. And what I've realized as I started to address the boundary issues with work, creating the boundaries and all of that I noticed, oh, wow, okay, I have boundary issues in other aspects of my life as well. And then you start diving into that a little bit. And then it becomes like this snowball effect, or as I say, Shrek and peeling back the onions. You start to wonder, okay, well, why do I have boundary issues? Why do I have a hard time saying no? Where does that come from? Do I need, external validation? Do I need, is there a self-worth piece and all of this? And so these things start to kind of peel back as I'm working with the clients, and they just came to me wanting to know how to unplug from work and blueprint their calendar. And next thing you know, they're learning how to create boundaries with people in their life and realize, like, I deserve to be treated better than this, right? Or things like that. So yeah, it does kind of end up being a little bit of therapy in there as well.
Now, I know that you're busy today and you've got a client soon. So
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I'm watching the time on that.
Thank you.
People are probably looking, going, Ali looks all right. So, she's saying some good stuff here. What would be great next is if I could just catch a coffee with her. So you do have a little session with a great title that you do on a regular basis. What's that called? And where can people find it?
Yeah, a virtual coffee chat. I mean, it's the way of life for me anyway, just meeting people, talking with people virtually. Actually, where I'm staying now, we met virtually a year and a half ago. And then I got to meet her in person. So that's really cool when you get to do that. So it's a virtual coffee chat, and you can find the link on my website, which is fullyremotewithali.com.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also on Instagram, fullyremotewithali.com, and of course on LinkedIn, Ali Pruitt. You can DM me and I'll be happy to send you the coffee chat, and you can find it sometimes in some of my content as well. So yeah, if you're interested in just chatting and wanting to even share what it is that you're kind of struggling with, it doesn't have to be big struggles. It could be big struggles, maybe. But yeah, feel free to chat with me. And I've had a couple of clients who it was really difficult for them to ask for help. And that's usually part of it that gets us to that burnout, right? And so you don't even have to ask me for help. Just ask for a virtual coffee chat.
You're on Twitter as well, are you?
No, I'm not. No.
You're not on Twitter yet?
No.
Oh, we're going to force you onto Twitter.
Okay, well, technically I am.
Okay.
The last time I used it was probably 3 years ago, and I think I put something like, how do I do this as my status or post? I don't even know what that's called. So
we'll make sure that happens at some stage. But this is going live on Twitter as well. So
okay.
People, if you're on Twitter, do find Ali on a different platform, maybe for the time being. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. This was great.
Thanks for this conversation.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up soon. But
okay.
Bye, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye.